right now. I'd like to introduce Tony.
I am here.
Tony is here. Awesome.
Jack, I was trying to give you enough time to finish there. Sorry if I'm a little late. I was
No,
another agent with a transaction actually. So
no, this I'm just ending, and what perfect timing then. So
awesome.
Tony Hughes, another amazing leader with our company, and I'm so glad he's um he's ending this for us tonight. He's going to share more details about our revenue share program and what that means for more details. So Tony, an amazing man here. I want to introduce, and the court is yours.
All right, awesome, Jack. Thank you so much. Can you hear me all right?
I
Everything
can,
good?
yeah, everyone.
Okay, cool, awesome. Great. Well, just for I think let's see, who all do we have? We have 11 people on here. Terry, Dorothy, Eric. Uh, looks like I think Scott started us off, didn't he? John Rozak. All right, Samantha, good stuff. Awesome. Very good. All right. Well, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Tony Hughes, and I live in Idaho Falls, Idaho, where it is freaking colder than, I don't know, it's cold. And we've had tons of snow this year, and it's crazy. And I started with EXP. It'll be June of this year will be my 4th year. So I'll go into my 5th year with the company. But Scott Lewis, who was hosting tonight, I believe I wasn't on here at the very beginning, but he actually is my sponsor here with EXP. And we spent a lot of time. He was so nice. He cooked a lot of fillets for me on his grill as he was courting me. I was a former team leader with Keller Williams, CEO of 3 different offices in Phoenix, Arizona, before I got married to my bride and moved to Idaho. And so, but anyway, June of 2019 is when I made the switch from Keller Williams. And I had a really cushy job, 401k plan, health insurance. I had owner equity options over a 5-year period of time. But Scott and Rob Flick sat down with me after they invited me to a golf game and showed me this model. And I absolutely, I didn't tell Scott or Rob that day, as Scott will, attest that I was super excited, but I didn't want them to know because I was pretty loyal KW. I really saw my future being with Keller Williams. And Rob Flick, when we were sitting in the clubhouse, he asked me a question that resonated like a nuclear bomb inside of my soul. And he said, oh yeah, you were a KW loyal too, Eric. All right. Yep. I mean, it's still a great brokerage, right? It's just an older model. And it's, I still can't believe they make people drive in to pick up their paychecks, their commission checks, and crazy stuff like that. No cap on E&O and all that. But anyway, I knew who Rob Flick was because I knew he used to be with Keller Williams, because he was actually, he and his former wife were part of the franchise that I was the CEO of like 15 years before. And so I had all of his records on, if those of you that know what profit share is, that's really the model that our founder, Glenn Sanford, used similarly to create our revenue share program here at EXP. And Rob Flick asked me, how many people have you personally recruited, or how many people have you recruited at Keller Williams? And I said, well, over the last almost 4 years, it's, over 500 people. And he made the comment, he said, if you would have done that here at EXP, you would be making somewhere around $1.5 million a month. And that my jaw just dropped. And he said, how close are you to that with profit share? And I want you guys to understand that, I'm not saying this to brag. I didn't know my head from my rear end, honestly, when I got hired when I got hired to be the CEO of Keller Williams Arizona Realty in Scottsdale. I did not have a real estate license. I did get a license back in 2008 or 9, but I never used it ever, never activated it. And yet the lady that owned this franchise hired me to be her CEO. And I told the lady that told me about the opportunity, I said, I don't have a license. I've never been in real estate. I don't know anything about real estate other than the houses I've sold. Why in the world would she want me to be the CEO of a real estate company? It makes no sense to me. And she said, well, one, that role is a leadership role and you're a great leader. And I said, okay, thank you. And then two, she said, it really is primarily heavily focused on recruiting and you're a great recruiter. And I said, and I had been, kind of retired for quite a few years, maybe 10 years, because I had built a huge passive income in multi-level marketing that I was living off of. And I wasn't interested in a job. I hadn't had a job in over 20 years, but I just said, well, Wendy, what would the job pay? What would the compensation look like? She said, well, you'll have to figure that out when you interview with them. But she owns a franchise in Michigan and she also bought one in Arizona now. But anyway, she told me, she said, I would figure with bonuses, you'd be close to $250,000 a year. And I said, well, that's, not bad money. I could come out of retirement for that. Long story short, through a bunch of Skype interviews from Fort Worth, Texas, where I was living at the time, this lady, Kristen Cole, some of you might know her. She was Gary Keller's right hand. Yeah, you know her. Kristen Cole is my boss. And so I had the opportunity to work with a rock star. I mean, for 20 months, she wasn't the very nicest person I've ever met in my life. I can tell you that. Her personality is not, it's equivalent to a 2x4. At least, as her employee. But I did learn real estate. That's where I learned the game of real estate. And I became the top recruiter for the Southwest region with Keller Williams my first year, which was 2016. I recruited 180 agents that year. I had 92 net. I had the highest gross profit in the region, and I had the highest profit share in the region. So I say all that to say this. Profit share is really what pulled me out of retirement because of the passive residual nature of that income. And because I had been in network marketing since 1995, full-time since 99, passive residual income was my love language, still is. And so when Scott and Rob were sitting there, and he asked me how many people I'd recruited at KW over that 4-year period, I said a little over 500 people. He said, yeah, you'd be making somewhere between $1 million and $2 million a month. And that just, my jaw dropped. I couldn't believe what he was telling me. And I said, Rob, none of this makes sense to me. I don't believe it. I don't see how it's possible, because I was still stuck in the old brick and mortar mentality. I was the guy that had to make sure the $35,000 a month rent check got sent out every month. I was the guy that had 7 full-time employees that reported to him. They had to make sure they did all their job. Plus I had to recruit 10 to 20 people a month and get them into training and all that. And so, so that's kind of what took me out of retirement. But unfortunately, my profit share, and I'm vested with Keller Williams, I still get a check every single month. I haven't missed one for, 5 years, something like that, 4 or 5 years. But my check last month, I'm just going to say it was $18. $18. Couldn't even take my wife to McDonald's and get a, Big Mac for that. But that's the dinosaur dying. Like it's the death gargle. That's what's happening. No one's making profit at Keller Williams, at least not the ones in Arizona. I knew all of those guys, and the owners sucked all the profit off, and there was nothing really to share. So revenue share is a different animal. Revenue sharing it comes off the top, not off the bottom, meaning profit is after you paid your expenses and taxes and all that. Revenue is when you collect it from the agent. So we have an 80-20 split at EXP. That 20% up until the agent caps at $16,000 a year is what we use to cover our revenue share. And what Rob said to me when I said, this doesn't make sense and, I don't get it, he said, you're not listening to me. And I said, what am I missing? And he said, we don't have buildings. We don't have rent. We don't have unnecessary employees that have to answer the phone when, the phone rings. And We've wiped all that out, and all that money that is going to Remax rent and Coldwell Banker rent and Keller Williams rent and Sotheby's rent and HomeSmart rent and all those companies, we don't have that. That money gets redirected to the agent. So here at EXP, and I'm sure Jack covered this in his presentation, the company's been sharing 50% of its revenues now since the company was started. And I haven't done the math to figure out how many multiples my revenue share check was this month or last month compared to my little $18 Keller Williams check, but it was dozens and dozens of multiples. Let's put it that way. It actually had a comma in it. I'm working hard to get some more digits, in that number. But the reality is revenue share is so much more powerful than KW's profit share, because again, it's each individual franchise is individually owned and operated. And it's, depending on the stewardship of the leadership of the money, depends on whether or not they're sucking the profit off, whether or not there's going to be any money to incentivize agents to help the team leader do some recruiting. Well, we don't need to worry about that at EXP, because Glenn Sanford has essentially created an opportunity for every single person at EXP, if they want to, it's totally optional, to become a CEO, to become a team leader, to become a recruiter or an attractor of agents to EXP. And essentially, we get the opportunity to build our own little brokerage or huge brokerage inside of a brokerage and get paid. I remember, I'm kind of talking from the heart tonight rather than a prepared script. But I remember when I was working for the Iams pet food company in the 90s, from 1991 to, basically when I resigned and started my full-time career in network marketing. But when I was with, the Iams pet food company, that it really didn't matter which company I was with. I quickly learned that your income in corporate America is not predicated upon your talent necessarily. It's not predicated upon the timing necessarily. It's really predicated upon whatever the HR budget is for your position. And it doesn't matter if you work 80 hours a week, if you have an Einstein IQ, if you grind it out, and kill your numbers and make everybody in the region look stupid, you're still only going to get paid what you're going to get paid. And that's why we're all in real estate, because we know in real estate that our income is predicated on the value that we bring to the marketplace. And I was bringing the value at KW. It's just their program was broken, and it's not broken. It's been completely reinvented here at EXP. So for those of you that may be new or not, is there anybody on here that's new, or am I talking to just a bunch of totally professional veterans here? I don't know. Who's all on here? Tori? Is it Terry? Are you
Well,
new?
new?
I'm new to EXP, but
You're new to
just a-
EXP, Terry?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
good. At least I have one person on here that maybe this is some new information. Lynette, how about you?
So I'm new to real estate and to EXP.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Well, I know there's a couple of really big time veterans on here. And so I just want to make sure that I'm not talking down to them, obviously. But I want to make sure that the newer folks really understand what we have here. So revenue share is, if you're at Coldwell Banker, how many income streams do you have? How many income streams can you create at Coldwell Banker? One. Where does it come from?
Retail sales.
And where does the money come from to pay you though?
Commission.
Comes from your commission, right? What kind of revenue streams are there at Remax or Century 21 or any of those other? Does anybody know if they have more than one?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things about EXP, and another reason why I had to leave KW and come here is there's about 7 different income streams that are here. I mean, one of the nice things that you get once you start selling houses here, you start getting stock, is once a quarter you'll get a little dividend check, because we get dividends on our stock. You don't get that in any other brokerage. You can become a mentor after you've sold X amount of houses, which isn't that many. You can apply to become a mentor here at EXP. And every time you help an agent close a house on their first, if they're a brand new agent and you help them, you're their mentor and they close a deal, you get 10% of their total gross commission. So that's another income stream that you can build here. Of course, our stock, I've been here now over 3 years. So our stock that we get given to us by the company vests after 3 years. So now I'm getting these emails every month that says you have X amount of shares vesting at the end of this month, meaning I could, if I wanted to, go in and sell those and bring in thousands and tens of thousands of dollars in income because of the amount of stock that I've generated in the last 3.5 years. You don't get that at KW. You don't get that at Century 21. I remember I think I've shared this on this Big Win Wednesday, but one of my buddies at KW called me, and this was when the stock was around $5 a share when I first started, a little over $5 a share. And he said, Tony, I can't believe you're going over there. Their stock is crap. It's not worth the paper it's printed on. And what if it goes down to zero? And I said, well, John, if it goes down to zero, it'd be like I'm still at Keller Williams because you don't get stock at KW. But what if it goes to $50 a share? And I'm not kidding you. Those of you that have been here long enough, you can attest to this. I'm not kidding you. It went up to $180 a share. And don't you think for 1 second I didn't call that Yahoo and say, remember when you razzed me about leaving because the stock was crap? I want you to go to Yahoo Finance and type in EXPI right now and take a look and tell me if my stock is crap. And it was about, 5 days later that he came over and joined EXP after he saw how much stock I had, how much money it was worth. I'm like, dude, you can razz me all you want, but KW is a private company and you're not going to get stock at a private company, period. And then profit share, no one at Keller Williams is even interested in profit share because there's just not enough money there to be excited about. But let me just take my new friend Terry here. Terry, I don't know if you've got a calculator or a cell phone handy. I've got my little iPhone here. Just for fun, bring up your calculator.
Okay.
And let's type in, let's just say it's a $555,000 home. Okay. And we're going to multiply that times 3%. Okay. So the commission for that agent would be $16,650 before the split.
Right.
Okay. So let's say that you are the one that sponsored that agent to EXP. Okay, you're the sponsor, meaning you're the one that had the biggest impact in their decision to join EXP. So when they filled out the join application, they put your name in the little box and said, "Yes, I definitely want Terry Flory to be my sponsor." So that's the income that they would make gross, not take home, because they've got their 80-20 split. But you're going to get, the way our rev share works, anybody that you personally sponsor, you're going to get 3.5% of their total gross commission. It's not coming out of their commission. It's coming out of the 20% split that they're paying into the company because they haven't capped yet. So if you take $16,650 and multiply that times 3.5%, what do you get? Is that what you get?
Oh, I said 577. I don't know what I did, but yeah, around just under $600.
Close enough, right?
Yeah.
So that, that buys a lot of groceries. That pays for an annual board fees in most states. It certainly pays for the MLS in most states, right? Most markets. And it's just one agent, one sale. One agent, one sale. And you did not have to sell a house to get that check. So they closed their deal in, let's say March, $555,000. They got their $16,650. They have to give up 20% of that because they're not capped, plus $65 for the E&O and the broker review fee. And if they're in the agent equity program, there's another 5% that goes to buy the stock for 10% discount. But just keeping it really simple, at 3.5%, you would have earned $582.75. Now, if you had let's just say over a 5-year period of time, or let's just say a two-year period of time, that you had 10 agents that did that, now, just add a zero, right? Now we're up to 58,2750. So the beautiful thing about our revenue share program is, one, it's optional. Two, you don't have to participate. Three, you're crazy if you don't, in my humble opinion. Right? Am I right, Dorothy? Right? You're crazy if you don't, because it's like right now, all these agents are freaking stressed out because the interest rates went up to 7% and, their business is off. And I'm like, I don't have any stress. All my bills are covered. I don't have anything to worry about financially because I have way more coming in every month in revenue share than my bills are. And so I don't care if I sell a house this month or next month or the month after. I mean, I would like to sell 5 or 10 maybe, but the point is I don't have to stress about that because Rob Flick, again, he impacted me and influenced me when I first started. He said, Tony, here's the deal. Most agents are going to focus on listing houses. He said, I focus on listing agents. Just think about that. I mean, if you were to visualize, a piece of paper with this person, like a little stick figure on there, and you were to ask the question, if this person could, they were Superman and they could work, 20 hours a day and they could work 7 days a week and they didn't have a family to worry about sacrificing, how many houses without killing themselves could they potentially sell in a year without a team, just themselves? I know for a fact, because I have a young man on my team. He just turned 24 on the 6th of March, 2 days ago. Last year, when he was 23, he sold 103 houses and it damn near killed him. And I helped him build a team and taught him this little concept called leverage, where you can bring in buyer's agents, showing assistants, and ISAs, and all these people to help him have more time with his wife and his 2 girls. And so that, he's very grateful for that, because now he maybe makes a little bit less money right now, but he has way more time with his family. Where the heck was I going with that? Oh, so the whole point again being passive residual income. And Merrick, this young man named Merrick, I said, Merrick, you've been at EXP now for a couple of years and, you're just selling, but we never talk about revenue share. And he had brought in like 5 or 6 agents, and we're literally at EXPCon, our convention in Las Vegas last fall. And I'm sitting there with him and I go, do you have my EXP app on your phone? And he goes, dude, I've never downloaded it. I'm like, download it right now. So I made him download it to his phone. He downloaded my EXP, and I go, log in with your EXP credentials, put your EXP email and password. Now click on that thing right there that says revenue share, go down to the bottom. And I showed him where he could go to look at his periodic, deposits. And he starts going through all of his monthly revenue share deposits. And here's what he said. He goes, dang, I got some money in there. He's making so much money selling houses that he didn't realize he had, thousands of dollars coming in this little thing called revenue share. And he's not even looking at his bank account, apparently, knowing that these deposits, he was shocked when he saw how much money was coming in and how much he had made that he wasn't even aware of. So the point being, guys, is if you will put this in your business plan, revenue share, which means, putting 2 to 3 hours a week, 1 to 2 hours a week, consistently over a 52-year or over a 5-year period of time. If you just put it into your business plan, I'm going to reach out to agents. I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to create friendships. I'm going to build relationships. I'm going to nurture those relationships. And I'm at some point when the time is right, I'm going to share this opportunity with them. And if they say, yes, I do, we're married, and they come to EXP, every time that agent closes a deal, you're going to hear cha-ching in your bank account because you sponsored them. So you get 3.5% of their total gross up until the point that they cap. And of course, capping means that someone has earned $80,000 in gross commission. They're in a 20% split. 20% of 80,000 is 16,000. That's our cap. So once an agent caps, of course, we don't take any more money out of their paycheck, out of their commission check, other than a little bitty transaction fee So there's no revenue to share at that point. That's why we say the maximum you can earn on the folks that you bring in is $2,800 a year. Now, that's if they're a full, what we call capper, meaning they've closed about $2.8 million in closed sales volume. I don't know what the average price of a home is in your marketplace, but if you took the average price of the home in your marketplace and divided it into 2.7 million, it's going to tell you approximately how many houses you need to close to cap at EXP. And then when you cap, you go to 100% commission until your anniversary year kicks in, and then it starts over again with the 80-20. But up until the point that you cap, or that agent caps, the company is going to take 3.5% of the 20% that they're paying into EXP, and they're going to give that to the agent that sponsored that person. And essentially, it's Glenn Sanford's way of saying, thank you for helping me build the largest agent-centric brokerage on planet Earth. Here's a nice little commission for your bank account. You didn't do the work. You didn't sell the house. You didn't go show anything. You didn't do open houses. All you did was showed the model explain video, did a 3-way call, they did some math. They figured out it made sense. They moved over to EXP, and now you created an annuity for your family, because this isn't just 1 year. This is every year for the rest of their career, as long as they're at EXP. So you can earn up to $2,800 per agent per year. So if you did 10 agents in a year that were all capping, let's just say they all were doing 7 or more houses a year, approximately, that's 28 grand in free money that you wouldn't have gotten if you're at any other brokerage. If it was one agent, that's $2,800 you wouldn't have got at any other brokerage. And I'm like there's my CPA, darn it. I'm going to tell him I'm on a Zoom. Hang on, guys. If this is Ray, I'm on a Zoom right now. I'm going to have to call you back.
What in the world is going on?
Let me finish up my Zoom. I'll call you right back. Okay, bye. That's my accountant doing my taxes for last year. So I got to find out what damage is done there. But anyway, where was I? So this is the way I look at it. I'm so cheap, guys. I mean, I was raised by by a very frugal mother. And so I'm very frugal. I like finer things in life. I don't like to go to cheap restaurants. I like to wear nice, clothes and all that, but I'm frugal. I look for sales. I just went to Kohl's the other day and bought like 8 shirts and 2 pairs of golf shorts for $104. I showed my wife the receipt. I go, look, I saved $153. I actually saved more than I spent and brought home this huge bag of clothes. That's just me. So the way I look at it is, if I just sponsor, I've got to pay $500 and some odd a year for my board fees. That's a tax deductible expense. I've got to pay, almost $450 a year for my MLS. Yes, it's a tax deductible expense. I've got to pay $85 a month to EXP. That's $1,020 over a 12-month period of time. So you start adding up that 1,000 plus your board fees, plus your MLS fees. And they showed me that all I have to do is sponsor one person that sells 7 or more houses, and my board fees and MLS dues, my brokerage fees and everything are covered every year. Sign me up for that deal. I'm in for that. So guys, the point is, if you're brand new with EXP, reach out to some of us who've had experience and let us help you bring in 1 or 2 good agents, because just those 1 or 2 agents covers basically all of your expenses as a realtor. And why would you want to spend your hard-earned money on board fees and MLS dues if EXP is willing to pay you so that you can pay those, right? And all it takes is a conversation, show them some information, follow up, sort them for interest, get them on a 3-way call, let someone that knows everything about EXP answer all their questions, overcome their objections, and help you close them. And then as they come in, of course, then every time they close the deal, you're getting 3.5% deposited in your bank account on the 20. We always say the 22nd, but it always comes 4 to 5, 6 days early. So around the 20th of the month, you're going to get your revenue share check deposit. Now, it doesn't stop there. In Texas, we use this word gooder. That's where I'm from, is Texas. It gets gooder from there, because you got to remember that your agents are not, they're going to do what you do. So if you're out there talking to people about EXP, they're going to talk to people about EXP. If they see you making money in revenue share, not all the agents, but some of them are going to say, hey, I want to learn more about revenue share. Guess what? They're going to start bringing agents to EXP. And that's the beauty of when your agents start bringing agents that you don't know. And if you build this correctly, the revenue share, you can actually earn 4% on the second level, which is 1/2 of 1% more than you earn on the first level, the people that you bring to the company. When they bring people to the company, you can actually earn a little bit more money when they close a deal than when the people that you brought to the company. Now, the genius behind that is that there's an incentive for you to help your people's people, right? Because you're getting paid, it's actually paying you down potentially 7 tiers or 7 generations. Your people, they bring in people, they bring in people, they bring in people. This is why I love it so much, because I was in network marketing. Most people fail in network marketing. Most people never make any money. They join Amway, they join, Herbalife or, Mary Kay or Avon or whatever. They don't make anything. My mom has been in every multi-level on the planet, and that poor gal has never made a penny. She's had a lot of tax write-offs, but she doesn't treat it like a business. She treats it like a hobby because she's into makeup. At 84, she's still doing, facials and makeovers and stuff like that. I've always looked at business from a different standpoint. I don't really necessarily focus on what the product is. I focus on what the income opportunity is. What's the business opportunity there? And here at EXP, our product is a house. So there's no lotions, potions, powders, or pills. We're selling houses, which is a big ticket item, which generates a big, huge commission. And if you get 4, 5, 6 agents that you bring to the company, and it's worth your effort, trust me, even though you don't know me, I just have to trust me. There's so many people at EXP. And guys, I don't know if you know this, and I don't know if we've updated our 2022 yet, but if you go to exprealty.com/income, if you go that, it actually will breaks down the income of how many agents are making how much money in each category. And so I would encourage you, go look at that. You'll be blown away at how many agents at EXP are making, more than 50,000 a month or whatever, right? So it breaks it down in each category. Now, the key to revenue share is you got to build it correctly. And so the way we build that correctly is, let me see if I can pull up. Let me get my little old man glasses on here. Hang on one second, guys. I should have had this up and I didn't. Let's see. There it is right there. All right. So I just want to show you guys this little, maybe not that one. Let's show this one. Yeah, this one's better. All right. So let me share my screen real quick. Host disabled, participant screen sharing. Oh, can someone make me a co-host or somebody do that so I can share my screen? Samantha, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I think Scott has the only one who has the power to make you co-host.
Oh, shoot. Well, I don't know if he's even on here or not. He's probably enjoying dinner or something, but darn it. Okay. Well, I can't share my screen, so that makes it challenging, but bottom line is you can earn 3.5% of all the gross commission of the agents that you bring in, up to $2,800 a year. And then you can earn up to 4%. And again, all you do, guys, it's very simple. $80,000 GCI, gross commission income. All you do is multiply the percent times 80,000, and that will tell you the maximum you can earn in revenue share from that agent annually. So if they're on your second tier and you've built it correctly, which I'm going to go over in a second, you can earn 4%. Let's say that they earned, $20,000 in a gross commission. You just take 4% times 20,000, and I think that's $800 if I'm not mistaken. And so you earn $800 on that sale of that agent that you probably don't even know, because one of your agents brought them to EXP. And that $800 will come off of the $3,200 that you can make maximum per year. But just 2 agents, if you brought in one agent and they brought in another agent, potentially, you can earn, basically $6,000 per year just off of those 2 agents. Now, here's the caveat. The caveat is, in order to, what I like to call, open up the door with the, to have the key to unlock the door to your second tier, which pays 4%, third tier, which pays 2.5%. Guys, all of this is on explore.exprealty.com. So if you go to that website, which is a company website, explorer.exprealty.com, and click on number 8, which I believe is agent attraction, and scroll down, you can find all of the information about revenue share. It's all on that page. But essentially, you've got to bring, in order to unlock that second tier and get paid the full 4%, you've got to bring in 5 producing agents over time. And they've got to still be here. They can't come and quit, and that counts as part of your 5. They have to be active agents, and they have to be what we call producing agent, which means they only have to be doing 2 houses per year, one every 6 months, that generates at least $5,000 in gross commission income, which is pretty hard to make less than that unless you're selling single wides for a living, right? So it's not that tough. But basically, two deals a year, $5,000 on each deal, $10,000 total. That makes them what we call a frontline qualified agent. You need 5 of them, 5 agents that do at least 2 sales or more per year. And if I were you, I'd focus on agents that do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 deals per year, because you're locking in an annuity there for life. And if you take care of your people are going to take care of you. I see a lot of agents that have left EXP recently, and I can guarantee you it's not because they're not getting paid more. It's not because of this or that or the other. It's because they don't feel like they're getting the support. And so when you sponsor people to EXP, it's kind of like giving birth to a baby. Even though it's pretty hard for me to do that, I still treat it like they're my newborns. And you just kind of have to visualize, okay, I have a new agent over here. Even if they've been selling for 5 or 10 years, they still don't know our ecosystem. They still don't know how to navigate the world. They still don't understand SkySlope potentially, some of the other software technology that we have. So you still got to take care of them. You can't just fling them on a wall and hope that EXP takes care of them, because you're the one that's getting that annuity. You're the one that's getting that revenue share deposit in your bank account. So you got to treat it just like you do a real estate client. Treat those people seriously. And if they need help, you need to let them know. You can call me anytime you want, because every time you sell a house, I'm getting paid. So, don't ever hesitate to reach out to me and call me if you need help. I'm always here for you. And I tell my agents that every single week, remind them that. So you bring in 5 agents, that allows you to now make 4% on that second tier. So guys, just theoretically, let's just throw a silly number out there that would never probably happen to 99.99% of us. But just from a mathematical standpoint, it's easy to wrap your arms around. If you brought in 10 agents, you call the time, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, 2 months, whatever it is. You brought in 5 agents. You now have the ability to get paid on that second tier 4%. So let's just say you brought in 5 more agents. Okay, you now have 10 agents that are producing. They're producing, well more than 2 or 3 deals a year. Now you're able to get 2.5% on your third tier because you have 10 producing agents. So that's the key that unlocks that third tier is 10 agents. The key that unlocks the fourth tier is 15 agents that you personally sponsored, that are what we call FLQA, or frontline qualified, which means, again, they're doing at least 1 deal every 6 months and earning at least $5,000 in gross commission. That's the rule. That's the parameter that you have to live by. But I want to get back to this vision, this picture, and I wish I could find it on my diagram here. I think I called it the power of a team. But just you guys can all visualize it just in your mind. Look at a blank piece of paper. I'll make it really easy for you guys. Can you guys see my little stick figure? Okay.
Really handsome.
He's a handsome little guy, isn't he? Well, he's really a binary. You don't know if it's a male or female, but that's okay.
Oh, go away.
But anyway, you got this one little guy. So how many houses can that one little guy or gal sell before they kill themselves? Going back to my earlier comment, right? But what if that one little guy or little gal had this? And what if all those little X's represented people that they personally sponsored to EXP? Who could sell more houses? That person or all of these people? Where's more revenue going to be generated, from you or from all these agents that you brought into EXP and yourself, right? So it's a simple vision But the reality is most agents, and I know I've worked with thousands of agents over the last, I don't know, 8 years or whatever. Most agents, they try and do it by themselves. There's like some glory badge out there, apparently, that, I killed myself, divorced 3 times in the last 2 years, and my kids don't talk to me anymore. But hey, I sold 300 houses, to me, that's like not a glory badge. There's nothing there to brag about whatsoever. But the reality is, if you try and do this by yourself, it's just a grind. If you start talking to other agents about the model and just, some will, this is my SW to the 5th power, and I've lived by this since 1995. Some will, some won't. So what? Somewhere, someone's waiting, right? They're waiting for you to tell them the story. And if someone says, oh, I've heard about EXP, you just be bold and say, well, you haven't heard about it from me, by God. Whatever it takes, or, tell me that. This is what I always do when someone says, I already know about EXP. Really? Awesome. Tell me the top 3 things you know about our company. I'm just so curious to know. And they'll go, well, I think it's like a virtual brokerage, or, hey, listen, I can already tell whoever told you about EXP did a crappy job. Can you just give me 30 minutes of your time? And I promise you, if you say no and you're not interested, I will never for the rest of my life ever bring up the 3 letters EXP. Will you just at least give me 35 minutes of your time? Okay. And then I get them on, watch the model explained. And then I ask simple questions, right? Like, what did you like best about what you saw on a scale of 1 to 10? Where are you? I'm looking for 7s or higher. If they're a 1 through 4, they're a crab. I'm going to get away from them because they have like cancer that infects you immediately. If they're a 5 or a 6, I might say, darn it, I wish you were a 7 because I only work with 7s or above. You didn't quite make the cut. And they go, well, I didn't know I needed to be a 7. Okay, I'm a 7. Oh, good. There's hope for you. I was really hoping we could work together, right? So you got to sort people out, but your favorite word in this business is next. Just like some buyers are going to fire you, some sellers are going to fire you, some agents or some buyers you don't want to work with, you're going to fire them. Sometimes we just have to say next and we move on. We have to realize there's millions of real estate agents on this planet, and every one of them could join EXP, and every one of them that does join EXP is going to be better off at EXP than where they were before. And I think that's one thing 99% of us can agree upon here at EXP. So that's I don't want to get too much more into it, guys, other than that. And unfortunately, I can't share my screen anyway, but you can go to explore.exprealty.com, certainly dive into section 8 there and go down and read up on it. But for me and my house, I love that Glenn Sanford doesn't have buildings that ties up all this ridiculous revenue that can come to us. So he's basically paying us to help him grow the company, and all of us are eligible. It's not just one lady or one guy at a Coldwell Banker that's the team leader that gets that big salary that's, all they do all day long is recruit agents to their brokerage. Glenn Sanford's made it so that anybody that has that inclination or that desire to be free financially and not have to go out and show 25 houses on a weekend. There's probably nothing worse that I can think of to do in my entire life than show 25 houses on a Saturday and Sunday. I would much rather be enjoying my Saturdays and Sundays doing whatever the hell I want to do and not having to go out and show buyers. But if you don't start today, it's like the Chinese said, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the second best time to plant the tree? Today. You don't want to be in the woulda, coulda, shoulda club because you're going to shoulda all over yourself if you don't understand this revenue share program. It literally can set you free financially. And I know a lot of people that have a ton of money, but I don't know a lot of people have a ton of money that can spend it because they don't have the time to spend it. Right? They're just working 8 to faint all day long. That's all they do is work. And yeah, they're making $700,000 a year, whatever, but they're on their 4th wife. Their kids are in jail, they're whatever. They've got destroyed their family all for the almighty dollar. And guys, that's just not what life is about. So Glenn's given us the opportunity here to do both. We can chew gum and walk at the same time. We can focus 90% of our time on real estate, helping our clients, 10% of our time building revenue share. That's just simply inviting people to take a look at a video and following up and sorting them for interest. Are they a 7 or higher? And then, follow the system that we have here. It's all documented, and I'm sure Jack went over that earlier, but we've got all the scripts that are out there on exactly what to say, what not to say. Here's a tip from the top. Don't say anything until you can say everything. Just let a video do it. Just let the model explain, or, CRM grow or whatever. But revenue share is another stream of income that's alternative or optional for EXP agents, but everybody has the opportunity to create a 6-figure income per month, per year. It's up to you. 7 figures per month, per year. 5 figures per month, per year, 4 figures. Who would be sad if they had $7,289.13 deposited in their bank account this month and it was all from revenue share? Who would be sad about that? Nobody, right? So, it's worth putting it in your business plan, working on it over time, being consistent, right? I always, I remind myself, I have this quote on my desk that's by Johann Wolfgang Goethe, and I have it memorized totally, but I won't embarrass myself because I'm sure I'll screw it up. But the one part of the quote that I just absolutely love the most, and I've shared, with thousands of people, I'll just read it straight off of here. It just says, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, almost always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there's one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one commits oneself, then providence moves too. And it goes on to talk about what will occur. Providence is manna from heaven, right? Providence is unexpected blessings. Providence are the things that just show up and you're like, wow, that was nice. I didn't expect that. Those kinds of things typically only happen to people that are really committed. Until one is committed, there's a chance to draw back, almost always ineffectiveness. And so you got to be committed, whether it's your faith, your family, your finances, your religion, your wife, your husband, your kids, whatever it is. When you're fully committed, providence will come. So my point being is that if you're going to start building a revenue share empire, don't be a starter, be a finisher. Be a winner, not a quitter. This takes time. Just like Rome wasn't built in a day, revenue share is going to take time. And some people, they end up, you'll bring people in and 2 years later, they'll quit. Why'd you quit? Well, I don't know. I just, they weren't in it. They just didn't they really didn't catch the vision of what EXP is all about. And then the thing that most people don't understand, and I know Glenn Sanford understands it at a super high level, and so does every other executive at this company. And I loved it on the shareholders meeting a week or two ago when they said 2023, we're going to focus on building the countries that we brought on, in the last year or two, right? So those 22 countries, they're going to really fortify those, build them up, get the talent, get the recruiting going. And guys, when that happens, when all these 24 countries are just kicking butt like we are in the United States and Canada, our revenues are going to go through the roof. And it just will follow. I mean, I studied business in college. That was my degree. I'm not a predictor of the future of stock, but it makes common sense to me that if our revenues go from 4.6 billion to 14.6 billion over the next 2 or 3 years, there's going to be a major uptick in our stock price, which means that all of us are going to end up being, very, very wealthy if we're out there doing what we're supposed to be doing every single day right now. And certainly revenue share, when you're bringing in $14.6 billion, we did 4.6 billion last year. But if we add, when we add another 10 billion from all these other countries that are getting up on plane, just imagine the kind of revenue share that's going to be paid out, to the tens of thousands of agents at this company. And frankly, agents that tell me I'm not into revenue share, I'm like, good. That just means the pie's bigger for me. If you don't want to participate, that's fine. That just means they split up the pie with fewer people. But I would encourage you to change your attitude, because you're going to kill yourself slinging houses for the rest of your life. There's a smarter way to build this business, and it includes revenue share. So that's all I got, guys. There looks like there might be some questions or something down here, and I'm sorry, I think I might have went a little long. What's the app? The app. I'll just type it in here. It's My EXP. That's the app. And if you go to my.exprealty.com, there's actually on that website, you can see who your entire upline, your team support is. So whoever your sponsor, their sponsor, their sponsor, their sponsor, you've got all their phone numbers and email addresses. That's also where you check your daily revenue share. When you start building a revenue share team, it gets addictive, doesn't it, Dorothy? Like you want to check
Yes,
that.
yes.
You want to check that My EXP all the time. You're like, oh, it went up $700 in the last 3 hours. Woo! Right? I mean, you didn't do anything but watch, the latest television show on Netflix or whatever, right? So this is what when we talk about other people's money and other people's efforts, there's nothing wrong. Just like a job, you've got a boss and employees. You're sponsoring people over here. To me, it's like I'm saving every person I bring to EXP. I feel like I have a moral responsibility to at least talk to someone that's at Coldwell Bank or Century 21 or one of these old dinosaur brokerages about EXP, because they're going to make more money here. Real estate's going to be fun again. They're going to have a camaraderie and collaboration that they've never had before. Technology that'll blow them away because they're in dinosaur, ville with these old broken down models that are going the way of Kmart and Sears Roebuck, right? I mean, we are the Amazon of real estate in this industry. And all you have to do is look at the numbers. 88,000 agents are here. And when I started 3.5 years ago, we had 17,000. When Scott Lewis started in 2016, we had 600 agents, right? So it's just booming all over the world. So questions, comments, suggestions, complaints, whatever. You guys open up your mics for a few minutes here, and then we'll wrap it up and get to dinner.
Tony, I'm so glad to have heard you. You have such a natural way of presenting, but it's all inclusive. And I understood things tonight from you that I never had understood before. So you did an outstanding job. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy. That's why we show up to these things, right? Because you just sometimes like, do I really want to get on another broker meeting? But I'll get in the broker meeting and invariably I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I didn't know about that. Or, so if you don't show up, you don't get that little different perspective. So I appreciate you sharing that. Anybody else? Looks like we lost a couple of folks. I bored them to death or it was getting late.
Well, that's their sorry luck.
Anyway, well, I think the rest of you guys are veterans. So
Tony, are you doing it again next week?
You know what? I know I'm scheduled for, I think, March 21st. Let me double check. I had to take a little bit of a backseat for a minute because my wife, she's been under anesthesia 3 times in the last 60 days. And I've been taking care of her surgeries and stuff. Let's see here. Oh, no, she's fine now. She's good. Yeah, I'm on next week. I'm not on there. I probably could be. Wait a minute. No, today's the 8th, 15th. No, Tom's on there next week. Tom's on next week. We don't have an icon trainer yet. Looks like Sasha is going to be doing EXP Explained, and we don't have rev share, but I certainly can come back. I don't have anything going on. And then I'll be doing the hosting on the 22nd. Danielle Pelucio is a good friend of mine. She's not part of my team, but I love her story because she came from HomeSmart, which is a flat fee company, to a split, and it's awesome. I'll let her tell her story. I'm not going to steal her thunder, but she's an incredible lady.
Hey, Tony, quick question for you.
Yeah.
I was at KW, just came over in July. When I first came over, my first month or so, I reached out to people and wanted to do like a group thing. Didn't have a lot of success. I'm redoing that. But for KW agents specifically, now that I'm here, my mindset is a negative one, to the point of if I had done more production, I'd have something better to say. But I'm getting out of that mindset. So an opening line to previous or to KW agents, I feel pretty comfortable in the conversation, but just starting that conversation. Any thought or scripts that you would say?
Well,
to any agent,
it really comes back to the relationship, Eric. And so if I had it all to do over again, I shocked and awed my KW database, and I had thousands of, I had the entire roster. I still do. I have the entire roster of Keller Williams, every single one of their agents, phone numbers, emails, addresses, all of it. And I wish I wouldn't have done some of the things that I did in the beginning. I wish I would have gone more to a rifle approach instead of a shotgun approach. And so, having that one-on-one conversation and just asking how their business is going and trying to become more of a consultant or a coach, coming with contribution like we were taught at Keller Williams, and really being sincere about their, about their business. This is what you don't want to do. I recruited a lady here and her husband, Ann and Eddie McKechnie. You can look them up on Work Chat. They've been in real estate for 50 years combined. Both of them have had 25 years in the game. And she had heard about, Ann's kind of the driver. Eddie's kind of the guy that goes and does all the grunt work, the showings and all that stuff. But Ann's really the listing specialist. She actually sold my $1 million home down in Oro Valley, Arizona back in 2009. But anyway, Ann, when she saw that I left Keller Williams and came over to EXP, she called me immediately and said, Tony, I've had luncheons with people about EXP. I've been to baseball games that, the Diamondbacks games, they invited me to try and recruit me to EXP. I've talked to agents. She said, the last agent I talked to said, Ann, I really need you to sign up because I just need one more agent so I can get my second tier open. I want to take a baseball bat to people like that, because that just makes all of us look bad. And she laughed about it. She goes, of course, I would have never signed up with her. I thought it was ridiculous, but I know you, I trust you. And if you're at EXP, why? So I just said, Ann, it's just better here. There's more money, more time freedom, more collaboration, better technology. We get equity in the company. You're not getting that at Tier Antigua right now. And I went on and on. She goes, Eddie and I need to talk to you. And of course they signed up, and they're never going to quit EXP. Never say never, but they're with me for life, and they're capping every year for the rest of their life. They do 40, 50 deals, a year. And so anyway, I think that it's not so much about memorizing a script as it is really working on collaborating. And, and then during that, that collaboration, if it feels right and you're not being pushy, then you can start to say, hey, how many times have you had a EXP presentation? Just ask a question. It's always best to ask questions than it is to make statements, right? Especially in any game, but in sales, questions reveal the answers. And so the more questions we ask, the better off we're going to be. So I would just say, how many times has somebody sat down with you and really peeled back the onion on the EXP model? And that's what I'd say. Listen, I don't want to be like some of these people that are annoying and that, call you all the time relentlessly. But if you knew there was a brokerage out there that all you had to do is change the logo on your for sale signs and business cards, and your income would double, would you at least give up 35 minutes of your time to take a look at that?
Oh, that's good.
If you knew there was a brokerage out there, then the next year it could potentially double or triple your income or your net worth. All kidding aside, I'm being deadly serious here. I'm looking at them and I'm being, would you cough up 35 minutes of your life to learn about that brokerage? And if they say, nah, I'm happy where I'm at, I'm like, come on, then it's like, all right, you got to either decide, is this person too stupid to be at EXP? Is it someone I really want to work with? Are they going to be a pain in the butt? But really, if they say something like that, I'm like, listen, you owe it to your family to sit down for 35 minutes and take a look at this. And here's the thing, Eric, I swear on my grandmothers, both of their graves, that if after you look at this model with me and you're absolutely totally locked into, Century 21, you have my word, Eric. I swear to you, I will never bring up EXP again the rest of my life unless you bring it up first. Can I have 35 minutes of your life to show you how I can double your income? I mean, something along those lines, right? And then it's not about you presenting, it's about something else presenting. That's why I just like the model explained. I've got it down now where I can get, I bet my average is over 90% of people that I ask to commit them to watch the model explained. They actually do it when they say they're going to do it. But that's a learned skill. You don't learn that overnight. It takes a lot of stepping on landmines going, well, that didn't work. I lost my right leg on that one. You learn over bad experience to how to turn it into good experience. But the reality is if you can just get people, and I'll give you guys a couple little tips. I say for sure. So if they say, yeah, I can watch it tonight. What time tonight? They say, I don't know, after dinner. Well, can I call you back after you watch it? I just have 3 questions I want to ask you. That's it. 3 questions. And they go, yeah, you can call me back. Okay. So would 7:30 give you enough time to watch the 35 minutes? And they go, sure. Or you can watch it with them, get on Zoom and watch it together. Just say, look, I'll hop on Zoom with you and share screens and we'll watch it together if you want. No, it's okay. I'll watch it. Okay, listen, I have 3 questions. Why do I say that? Because that tells them there's a test. There's a quiz at the end, right? Now, when I call them, I'm going to, I usually text them an hour before the appointment. And I say, Eric, don't forget, we've got a quick little phone conversation at 7:30 tonight. I've got 3 questions I want to ask you after you finish that video. Just wanted to give you a quick reminder text. Now they've got an hour. Now, usually what will happen, if your skills are not up to where they need to be yet, is they will blow you off. They'll blow you off. They won't watch the video. They'll ghost you. They probably won't even call you back or return your text messages. And then you've got to do something crazy, like send them a text message and say, I don't know if I made you mad. I don't know if you died in a car wreck. I don't know if you fell off a cliff. But if I said something to offend you that you're not responding to my messages, please, please, please forgive me. I'm sorry. I did not mean to offend you. But if I didn't offend you, can we at least have a 3-minute conversation about the video? And they probably will say, well, I just haven't had a chance to watch it. It's okay. You're busy. You're a realtor. Of course you haven't watched it yet. So don't get offended if they haven't watched it, but work on skills. And so I'll say, can I call you back at 7:00 or is 8:00 better, right? The option closed. And they say, why don't you give me till 8:00? Great. I'm going to text you at 7 to remind you I'm calling you at 8 so that if you forget, you'll still have 35 minutes to watch the video. And I just have 3 questions I want to ask you. And those questions are: 1, what did you like best about what you saw? 2, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you loved it, 1 you hated it, where are you? What's your number, right? That's my second question. I'm looking for a 7 or above. And then my third question is, if they're a 7 or above, I'm like, oh my God, thank God, Eric, you're a 7. I don't work with anybody that's a 6 or below. So I was really hoping you would say at least a 7. Here's my final question to you, Eric. Would you be offended if I got you on the phone with my business partner so he could kind of answer any questions that you got? That's it. And then I do a 3-way text message with Scott Lewis and you and me. And I just say, hey, Scott, meet Eric. Eric, meet Scott. Scott's one of the top leaders in the company. He's leading the international expansion of EXP. He knows 100% of the facts, and he loves helping real estate agents like you and me. Scott, this is my new friend, Eric. Eric is a blah, blah, blah real estate agent and blah, 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 Arizona or whatever. And then I just say what my goal is to try and collaborate, kind of put together a little 15-minute phone conversation so Eric can get some of his questions answered. And then we get it all, coordinated. And then we do a 3-way call. And then you let the expert, you don't interrupt, you just let them do their thing. Let Scott do his thing, or whoever you're using as your third-party expert. And guys, this is all in this book. If you want to, it's multi-level, but it's the same with revenue share. Just buy this book, Building an Empire by Brian Carruthers. And you don't even need to read the first 3 quarters of the book. Just read no, I'm sorry, excuse me. Let me back up. That's a great book, Building an Empire by Brian Carruthers, good friend of mine. But what I really wanted to tell you to read is Go Pro by Eric Worre, WORRE, Go Pro. And it's a network marketing book. But if you skip the first 3 quarters of the book and just read the last 4 or 5 chapters, it will teach you everything you need to say, do, act, how to act. And it doesn't have anything to do with EXP, but it has all the scripts, everything you need to say, because it's the same thing. We're doing the exact same thing. We're sorting and sifting for people that say, yes, I want in, I want to join. Right. And that's really the game. Sorry, I went so long on that, Eric, but I hope that helps a little bit. Okay.
It did. Thank you.
You bet. If I can ever help you with any Keller Williams agents, listen, I know KW better than just about anybody. So you can put me on the phone with him. I'll be happy to do three-way calls with you. No problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys. If we don't have any other comments or questions, let's wrap it and get back to our family. We good? Awesome. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you,
Thank
Tony.
you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
guys. Have a wonderful evening, you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tony. That was awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks so much. See you guys. Bye-bye.